Today on Hey, We're Talking.
That's very interesting, Scott. That's very, very interesting.
That's super interesting. Would you look at it? Just look at it. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, such good times, guys. I'm going to remember these forever. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Hey, We're Talking. It's a Friday, so we're all excited for the weekend, aren't we? I've heard people say that you should not be excited for the weekend because you should be excited for every single day of your life. Don't work for the weekend like, what's the name of the band?
Loverboy?
Yeah, Loverboy says. Don't. Everybody's not working for the weekend. Some people have jobs where they like every day.
I still think it's weird, going back to our last episode, now you're mentioning Loverboy, George Michael, and then that store where men met up because of plastic bags.
Loverboy's not a gay band.
I don't know. It just
not
all
that I have
sounds
anything
like
against
weird,
gay bands, but
it just sounds like
Queen
this
is a great gay.
vibe you're
Well,
giving
there's
off.
one gay guy that I know of in Queen, and he died. George Michael died. There you go. Bob, what the heck just happened? Did you see that?
What?
Your whole thing just went like completely dark and then popped back open again. But
probably because I'm at the very tail end of my cigar, so I
you
let
blew smoke right at the camera and it just totally freaked out. Don't do that.
Okay. Sorry, I won't do it again.
All right,
maybe I will.
So
we'll do that again. Maybe I will.
So here we are again. I think Derek is looking stuff up. It looks.
Go ahead and say welcome to Hey, We're Talking.
I did already.
I don't think you did.
Yes, I did. And I've said both of your names. I've done everything I need to do.
You did say our names.
Yeah,
you have
Bob
to do
and
that
Derek.
every show now. Okay.
Scott, Bob, Derek.
Somebody said we have to do that every show because what if people don't know? I'm Bob, by the way.
We always do. We've never not said who we are, I don't think.
I know.
Any which way. It's become I was a little worried because it's inside this. It's in the Hey, We're Talking Voxer chat. And I was like, okay, this is becoming like a little bit of a controversy. You got
fans arguing whether
Queen of
we
Cobb,
say the name or not.
Queen of Cobbs, and then Boontar. They've kind of been going back and forth on it, and I'm like, I hope this doesn't become a thing. If it does become a thing, I hope it's just a funny thing.
I think it's fun. There might have been a few episodes where we may have neglected or glossed over the introductions, and maybe that's when Kaylee started paying attention. I don't know. And so.
But then Derek, you and Boontar have that same kind of like, I don't know what it is, like sarcasm kind of thing.
That je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I hope Kaylee's not like a snowflake and she'll get all bummed out that Boontar's just kind of like handing it to her.
Snowflake.
But I don't think she is. I think she's not a snowflake.
She's got she's got the mental toughness. She can hang in the Voxer chat. She can hold her own.
Oh, dude.
She's not gonna curl up and die because people are saying, yeah, we do introduce ourselves most of the time.
I don't think I said that she was gonna, but okay. Again, I'm being wrongfully accused.
Well, that's what I do, Scott. I'm gonna take. I don't know if you've ever seen
take liberties.
Before. I don't know if you've ever been on the show before, Scott, but I tend to exaggerate things just a little bit and take them to the extreme.
That's me.
I tend to point out.
You guys need to take some time alone and figure out who you are.
It's just
and identify who you are as an individual.
Did you notice that Bob, by the way, as we're arguing, is taking a picture of himself? He's doing a selfie. He turned all the way around in his chair and took a selfie of the computer screen with us and him.
Yeah, why did I do it?
Because you're a millennial.
No, I'm not a millennial. I'm a Generation X, number one. Number two, I did it so
I'm Generation X also. So all these things you keep saying about me being old, it's all hogwash. I'm the same generation as you.
So we have a picture for Instagram. That's all. I'm just going to post on Instagram.
I I have a real question for you, Bob.
Gosh.
Because you know people that listen to the show that don't know me or Scott.
Correct.
Who do they like more, me or Scott? Or
That's
what are
a great question.
what are their opinions?
Who cares?
Of us?
Who cares?
No, I want to know. No, I want to know.
I don't know their opinions of the individuals. I know their opinion of the show, and they don't have to listen to the show, but they do listen to the show. So that's a good question. I'm gonna have to ask.
What will happen if they say they like Derek more than me? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna brag for Derek.
Go ahead. But what are you going to do? What's going to change on the show if more people like Derek than they like me?
Maybe you'll step up your game finally, Scott.
My game is all the way up.
I just want Scott's feelings to get hurt.
my feelings aren't going to be hurt.
And if they like you, Scott, then I'll just tell Derek, man, you got to step it up. People don't like you as much.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I'll be like, well, I don't need this show to feel good about myself.
Yeah, the truth is, I really don't care what people think. I mean, I'm glad they listen, but I'm not going to let it change who I am.
We get a lot of good feedback.
We care. You care what people think. If you didn't care what people think, you wouldn't want to entertain people. That's what
you wouldn't dye your hair.
But you don't entertain people just to make them like you. You do it because you like to entertain.
That is the definition of entertaining people. Do you think you're
saying that because we do this, we're all shallow and all we care about is what people think?
What do you think entertaining people is?
I just don't know where you're going with this, because I like that there are people that listen to the show, but if as evidenced by the fact that we've had people come and talk crap to us on the YouTube channel, I really don't care. If I don't agree with them, I'll tell them. I don't care.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to not acknowledge or be bothered by negative opinions.
He does not know how to use this thing, by the way. He's trying to blow into a French horn, and he doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah. Bob has grown bored with our argument, and he has grabbed a French horn.
It's kind of weird, but I mean, it is part of the show at this point. So,
did you know that is not actually called a French horn? That is actually the proper name for that is the horn.
Horn.
It's just a horn. That is a horn.
All right.
I mean, you can call it
something I got for free from a garage sale.
And you put your mouth
25 cents.
I mean, it is French and circly and stuff like that. It's all French, fancy looking. But I think they just call it the horn.
Maybe I'll just pull a Danny Black and grab a guitar or ukulele or something.
What in the world is he doing? What are you doing?
I just did that to distract you guys from arguing. You sound like a bunch of little babies.
I'm not. I don't even feel like
arguing back and forth on the show. You're supposed to be entertaining people.
It's not an argument. It's just saying that the desire to entertain somebody, it kind of plays into you care what they think. You want them to be entertained.
Your desire to entertain people was not entertaining people.
I'm actually hoping that from now on Derek sleeps right before the show again. I'm just kidding. He's totally frozen right now, so I may have chased him off with the last comment. Oh, he just went meh.
His internet's been doing some funky stuff today.
Yeah. It's okay though. He'll be back eventually. We'll just talk. Bob, what kinds of stuff do you want to yell at me for?
I've got nothing. I say what I say. You guys know that. Everyone should know that by now. Bob didn't hold back on anything. I call it as it is.
You just called yourself. You just used your name in the third person, by the way.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time.
You do?
I could try fourth person too. That's weird.
Are we over it, guys?
Is it the first? It's the first person, isn't it? It's the first person, isn't it?
No, I'll try fourth person. How would you say yourself? Talk about yourself in fourth person.
In the third person, isn't it the third person, Derek? When you say Derek says, and it's you that's Derek.
Yeah, that's third person. So how would I talk about myself in fourth person?
You can't. I don't think.
You'd have to go to the fifth dimension to do
myself.
that.
This Bob I know.
You'll have to break the fourth wall down.
Yeah.
Do you know what the fourth wall is, Bob?
No.
We do that all the time.
We sort of do. It's hard to do because we're not in front of people.
Well, this is not a fictional show.
But we're not in a room with a bunch of people. Usually the fourth wall means you're talking directly to the people. So technically our fourth wall never exists because we are talking to people. But it would be different if they were in the room with us. Then we could break the fourth wall.
Yeah, I don't think it's a thing.
When are we going to get together and do a live show?
Dude, I would love it. Here's two things I thought of already. Number one, Someday, what we're going to end up doing is we'll be on tour with Brandon Ray or something, and we'll do like a little show before. And then the other one is, if we have Brandon Ray on the show, we'll do that anyway. And then the other one is we need to go. We'll go on a Pacific cruise with Danny and Emma, and we'll do little podcasts from the cruise ship. Because with Danny's help, I bet you we could actually talk the cruise lines into letting us do a thing that gave exposure to the cruise line. I bet. And I'm going to introduce a thing that is going to bring Danny and Emma together. It's going to be called Hula Hoop Karaoke, and it'll combine both their jobs in a wonderful way. What happens? I don't know. You hula hoop while you're karaoke?
Yeah, just use your imagination. There's not really much to it besides hula hoop karaoke.
I wonder if Danny and Emma ever got into a hula hoop together.
We talked about
Remember
this.
we talked about that. I
They
wonder
should
if he ever
get in
did
it
that.
together and do the hula together. Naked.
Danny will comment below when he catches up.
Here's the thing. Danny, on his most recent video, the cool thing is he actually had... So Emma's on the ship with him, okay?
Yeah, that's cool.
So cool. Can
and
you
she
imagine?
was hula hooping.
Yeah. And she got to do little voiceovers on the video, which I thought was good, too. Did you hear her talk also?
No, I am a few videos of his behind, but I will get caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a few more. I want to see like the whole cruise ship series.
Yeah.
All together as one.
Dan,
I'm not ignoring you, Danny. I promise.
That's the thing about Danny's videos. They are just usually around 5 to 6 minutes each. And so you can line them up, do like 5 or 6 in a row, and it'll just be like a little half-hour show that you can watch.
and it's awesome that way. That's what I do. I just wait for a few to store up, and then I'll go on and watch them all. I'll watch them this week sitting in the airport.
There you go. We love Danny, man. How cool is it that I introduced Danny Black to you two? Huh? Aren't you glad you know him now?
I knew him before you.
You did not.
Danny and I grew up together. I actually babysat him.
All right, I'm done. You guys, that's it. I'm done. I can't take it. You're just being so judgmental of everything.
I taught him how to play his first G chord.
He was playing music when he was so young.
I know. I taught him how.
No, you didn't.
I like, Danny, this is a G.
You know, you guys are like literally almost the same age as him, right?
I know. I was like 2, and I had a little guitar.
So dumb.
And I was like, "Hey, Danny, check this out. This is a G string."
He has a very musical family. His dad and his brother, and I can't remember if anybody else is musical, but I know his older brother and his dad definitely are very musical.
You talk about them like they were part of the circus or something.
No, they were.
Yeah, he's got a musical family. You know, Dad has been a hula hoop master.
His dad was the worship leader at this huge mega church I went to in Michigan. Huge. Like 10,000 people on a Sunday.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I was nervous to play in front of 1,000 last weekend.
Yeah, it was massive, just huge. But they had like multiple services, so I think the auditorium held like 2,500 at a time.
Yeah, but you should be nervous now. We've got tens of thousands of listeners and
millions.
The millions. Yeah. Okay. I don't know where this is going. It's a disaster at this point. It has been
wonderful.
all over the place.
It's your fault because it's your job to direct the show. So my job is to put crap on the spreadsheet.
I had a lot of the stuff coming at me.
Derek's job is just to sit here and smile with a wonderful haircut, and your job is to direct this show and keep it moving.
So
it's on
think
you, buddy.
That's what Derek's job is?
That's all he does.
No, he slings arrows to try and destroy me. He tries to kill me on the show every time. No, he's extra feisty because, like he said, he woke up. He's too woke today.
Derek got woke.
Derek is woke, man. You gotta look out.
Alcohol.
Woke
no alcohol
Derek.
either.
Yeah, that's true. He's not drunk today.
I'm just not sick anymore.
How many days sober are you now? It's not funny. It's not funny. Anyway,
like a week.
All right.
I'm 0
We'll
days.
take a quick break and we'll come back. We're gonna get into the actual topic. I don't know how this is gonna go, but we'll see. It's gonna be the top 5. I don't know how Bob would even say it because the way he wrote it down was very weird. It's like nostalgia, stuff that's nostalgic to us.
Yeah, like our top 5 nostalgic items or moments or whatever. We'll get into it after the break.
It's so vague, but whatever. We'll do it.
Anybody else want to say it's okay? We'll do it.
It's okay. We'll do it.
Today's show is sponsored by Gamefly.com. 30-day free trial. Go to Gameflyoffer.com/HWT. We're back, and we're talking about, well, we didn't really talk about it yet, but we're going to talk about nostalgia. We're going to talk about things that were nostalgic over items, moments. That's the way that's the way Bob described it anyway.
Well, so nostalgia is a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or a place with happy personal associations.
All right. I like it.
That's a great definition. So here's just an
was that from the dictionary?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's why it's a good definition. It's a dictionary.
Oh, exactly. I just wrote it. Dictionary's got to pay me now. So here's an example that you may have heard over time, Derek, and it's happened to me as well. Smoking a pipe has been a nostalgic moment for someone else. They would approach me and say, wow, I haven't seen someone smoke a pipe in I don't know how many years. I remember that smell from when my grandpa was around. He used to smoke a pipe. So that's an example of a nostalgic moment to where he smelled the pipe tobacco and saw the pipe, and it just brought him back and thought of his grandpa. Yep. So that's kind of the things we're talking about.
And our good friend, in fact, our good friend Jimmy, Gentleman Jim, that's part of the thing that drew him to the pipe smoking was his grandfather.
Yeah.
And when I would smoke a pipe, it reminded Cheryl of her dad. He was a big pipe smoker. He's still, I say that like he's not here. He doesn't smoke pipes anymore. He doesn't smoke at all. But he used to smoke a pipe, and that was a big deal. Cheryl was like, "Oh, I remember that smell."
Did he give you any pipes?
No. I don't think he even has. I don't think he has any left anymore. He quit cold turkey. Just quit smoking completely because he used to be. He started when he was like 15 or 16 years old, smoking cigarettes. Went to cigars, then went to pipes, and then he quit.
Interesting. Yeah. I did not get into pipe smoking because it was nostalgic. I just went from... Sorry. That was like the worst dead air of all time. Like, yeah, interesting. And
okay.
It was like the worst response. No, I like the story, but for me, pipe smoking is not nostalgic.
Okay. What is nostalgic for you, Derek?
Watching cartoons, I guess.
Really? Like how? Like what happens? Like it take you back to being a kid or what?
I guess so. If we're first of all, I think that nostalgia could be like a whole. I think we could do a whole podcast about. I mean, like the entire podcast itself could be nostalgia. You know, there could be like.
That was kind of the idea with this one, but we talked too long in the beginning.
I'm not talking about the episode. I'm talking about like
an entire podcast just about nostalgia.
We own that. You can't steal it.
What would you call it? What's the name of the podcast?
Nostalgia moments.
Nostalgia
in podcast land.
Nostalgicast. Okay, go ahead, Derek. Yeah. Nostalgia for you. Cartoons. Which cartoon in particular? Think of one.
Looney Tunes, Muppet Babies.
Okay.
Tom and Jerry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes me back to innocent times.
Innocent times. I had one. Now, this is not. It technically wasn't innocent time, but it reminded me of something special that I shared with my dad. Now, he did not share in this, but I happened to, for some reason, the other day, I was like, I'm going to try a Miller Lite beer. For no reason whatsoever, I was just like, I'm going to try a Miller Lite beer. And when I opened the top of the bottle, the smell of it came out, and it literally whisked me away, no joke, to when I would go to hockey games with my dad, because they served Miller Lite at Joe Louis Arena, and all these people had little cups of Miller Lite. In fact, I had a Miller Lite dumped all over me one time at a game, because when they would score, people would, and they'd throw everything up in the air, and I got beer on me, and I smelled like beer. But I remember that smell.
Did your dad baptize you after that?
No, he didn't. But the funny part about that whole thing is, as everybody knows, like my dad never drank, ever. Still, to this day, does not drink. So
it's sinful. It's very sinful.
It can be. But the smell of that Miller Lite just took me back, and it was actually a good moment. Just the smell, I was like, wow. Reminds me of my dad taking me to hockey games. So that was nostalgic.
Interesting. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Bob, what's one of your...
Believe it or not, it's carnivals.
Really?
So a carnival is a nostalgic thing because where we lived when I was, I don't know, kindergarten through 5th grade, we lived in one house. And every year we knew the carnival would come down to St. Andrew's Church. And every year we'd literally be able to walk right down our block, down the hill, and there was a carnival there. So we'd always go and, have fun at the carnival and enjoy that. And that was just a moment because it was myself and my brothers and it was just, that awesome time in our lives. And what we would do, which would give us money to go to the carnival, is we would actually, my mom would help us out with this. We'd actually make a bunch of sandwiches, like with cold cuts.
The old cold cuts.
Yep, and have some chips. And we'd walk down there and we'd sell them to the carnies as they were building the carnival.
Oh my gosh.
So any of the money that we made off of that, we'd actually go spend at the carnival.
Your mom just really trusted those carnies, huh?
It was back in the day, man. People were
before
innocent
anybody talked about what happened with the carnies.
Maybe, but I mean, this is something we did year after year after year.
So they knew you.
And they kind of knew we were there for that purpose. And,
was Rage a lunatic back then?
No, he was just a little kid then.
Oh, listen, even though you just talked about him, look at your little face. You got all wispy.
Little
for
innocent
your brother.
kid. And then life changes.
Longing for a time past.
So, Derek, you got another one?
Derek, why didn't you say his was interesting?
I was about
obviously
to.
Not.
I was about to, but you interrupted me.
Okay.
I'm actually very nostalgic for a time in the early 2000s when I joined the military for basic training and the tech schools. About 6 months. It was in San Antonio, basic training, tech school. Did 6 weeks of basic training, and then I did about 3 months of tech school to be a cop, Air Force military cop. And there was a lot of music playing in the background. I remember I wore a certain cologne. I think it was Tommy Hilfiger cologne or something.
Ooh, high roller.
So whenever I smell that cologne or whenever I hear certain music from that time period, whenever there was certain body wash that I would use. I can't remember the brand, but sometimes if I'm ever in the store and I smell it, time travel, man, takes me back to that time.
So I've got one that bounces off of that. So my dad has worn the same cologne for his whole life since I can remember as a little kid. And my father-in-law actually wore the same cologne before he passed away, which was Brute.
Yep.
Just this green bottle cologne, So anytime I could just be walking anywhere and I smell Brute, and I think of my dad, I think my father-in-law, and obviously that just memories come back because that's one of those things you smell it and it's like, oh, that reminds me of Dad, or that reminds me of my father-in-law. That's the kind of stuff we're looking for here.
Most of my stuff where I start to think about people that might not be here anymore or situations, it's usually a story about that person. I don't have a lot of stuff that reminds me of that smell one. That's not normal for me, that smell. Although, there's some of those ones like that first summer rain. That's one of those ones that I always really enjoy, where that smell that just kind of comes off the pavement and all the stuff just on that first hot summer night when it rains. That's a really good feeling. But that doesn't
I feel like you're writing a song right now.
Summer rain. Or is that summer breeze? It's summer breeze makes me feel fine. Yeah. But no, I don't have a lot of stuff that I remember. It's usually stories about people. I'm really into the stories. So that stuff doesn't get me. My buddy Bill, he is so into the time we grew up in the 80s. He cannot, every time he's like, oh dude, he collects records and he'll just get these obscure 80s bands. And I'm just like, why did you buy that? He's like, oh, I listened to the whole thing, man. don't you remember how awesome high school was? And I was like, no, it was not. I hated high school. I hated where I went to school. The only thing that made it tolerable was I met Cheryl. That's it. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of like, oh, remember when I was a kid, how awesome that was?
Then why did you pick this topic, Scott?
I didn't pick the topic at all.
I think you did.
Oh
so
my
you don't
gosh.
experience nostalgia. That's
no, I
interesting.
do. I just told
Very
you.
interesting.
If you listened, you knew that I did say that I
I think it's
experienced
time to get a
nostalgia in
psychologist
different
on the
way.
show. If you're a psychologist and you'd like to be on the show to analyze Scott and his mental illness,
We can bring Bill
That
on
would
the
be-
show. Bill would do
That
it.
would be a lot of
But he's not going to analyze me. I can tell you that.
We need to have.
well,
more
he's also the guy that gave us 4 stars on iTunes. So whatever, Bill.
That's true. That's true. He analyzed the show.
We did have a troll on iTunes that gave us a 1 star though. Just to let you
Did
know.
it really?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
And
funny.
glad.
I forget what was said. It was something like the comment was so stupid, like blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
something dumb, and I'm just like, really, you're trolling for that? So
Hey, listen, if you got the time to review the show and give it 1 star, I think that's good. I like it. I'll take
love
I'll
it,
take
huh?
a bunch of 1 stars because I think we'll have a lot more 5 stars and an occasional good friend who gives you 4 stars.
yeah, he's like one of your best friends.
I've known him
Like
forever,
you talk
yeah.
about him all the
I
time.
know.
You've known him forever, and that guy goes on there and gives us 4 stars. Bill, one of these days I'm gonna
He's
meet
honest. He said he's being honest, and I said,
you.
okay.
Don't put freaking stars, Bill.
If he doesn't believe that it's a 5-star show, why should he do that?
I would be happy to be called. If we were an honest 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I'll take a 5-star rating.
It is funny, though. It
And
is
it's-
funny.
I mean, it's-
the fact that
but
he's
it's generous.
known me literally since 8th grade, and he gave it 4 stars. Like, you always just kind of bank on the people that you really know.
Right,
if they
right,
do,
yeah,
they'll be like,
I
I love this guy. He gets 5 stars. Yeah, so it was funny.
Because that's not going to be the thing that kills the show.
No.
It's not going to be that's not going to be the hinge point where.
No.
If only Bill would have given us 5 stars.
We got an immediate
Could've-
thumbs down on our YouTube video with Tim. Did you know that? Immediate.
Yeah, there's one or two specific people that love to troll. At least they've subscribed and they hit the little ringy bell. So
The
every
fact
time
that
we
they do
post
that
an
is so
episode,
funny.
they just go on and put a thumbs down. But
God bless that person for
I know,
waking up
but-
at 4 in the morning to do that.
right, exactly, because I'm up at 6:11 every day, and every time we post a show, I log on to make sure it posted, and I there's already a thumbs
seriously,
down.
there
Like,
is, isn't
really?
there? It's like immediate.
So
It's
somebody
pretty
that
funny.
gets up really earlier that's an hour ahead or a few hours behind loves to jump on there and hit that
What if
thumbs
it's
down.
like? What if it's like Danny Black on the cruise ship just to mess with us?
Could be.
God
It's
bless
not.
you, Danny.
It's
I
not though. It's not.
appreciate it.
No, it's not.
At least you
funny,
give
though.
us a view for doing that. So
That's
we'll
true.
take it.
Listen, I know that we talk about this stuff, and the person's probably like, "See, they talk about it though, so it does bug them." No, it's just
No.
it literally makes me laugh. It's so funny when I see that immediate thumbs down. It just makes me laugh. It really does.
I personally am not bothered at all. I get thumbs downs on my stuff all the time. I get bizarre,
Interesting.
sometimes mean comments.
What?
And
Mean
yeah.
comments for what?
Well, when you have 2,942 subscribers, you're probably going to make somebody mad eventually.
That's true. Although Derek is
YouTube.com/Derek
like the most.
J. Tan.
He is like the most non-offensive person. I mean, Bob, you're pretty close too. You guys are both very. You don't like to irritate people.
No, I
Like
try
I
to
take great joy in that.
I try to no, see, I don't like to irritate people. I try to keep the peace. That's kind of I've always done that within my family. I've always done that with friends. I'm a peacekeeper.
Isn't it funny
I try
though,
not
that
to stir
both of
trouble
you,
and all that stuff, but
both of you pick on me relentlessly on the show though?
yeah, that is
funny.
kind
'Cause
That is
in
funny.
real life, you guys don't do that to other people. I don't think.
no, I only do it on the show. I don't pick on you any other time.
I know that's no. You do
See,
a
that's
little
what's
bit.
funny.
You do a little bit.
A little bit, but
But I
it's
like
the same
that.
thing.
It makes me laugh.
You pick back on me, so that's just
Yeah,
the way
it all makes me laugh.
Oh.
But you know, in real life, I don't think you guys are like that. You don't do that to people.
No, not at all. I'm actually too nice to people sometimes.
you
to
are.
where I've been taken advantage of. So it's like you just kind of realize that. But if I have to put the hammer down,
Derek is inspecting
I'm gonna put the
himself
hammer
right
down.
now. Is your throat coming back? You getting a little?
No, I'm
You're
fine.
swollen. Your glands swelling.
I'm just listening to Bob.
Did you
talk
think it was
about
interesting?
how he's? Yeah, it's
Good.
very interesting. Interesting.
How
very,
come I was talking? Every time I talk, you choke yourself. That's weird.
I know, it's weird. Somebody tell one last nostalgia idea, because this is it. This is it. We're out after this.
I remember that little barnyard thing, the Fisher Price barnyard that had like the little thing that you open the doors and I think it would make the little moo sound.
Yes.
It had a little. I love that thing. I had that when I was a kid.
Have you ever thought about buying another one?
Yeah.
You know people have this stuff, right?
Yeah, I know, but I feel like if I spent the money to get it, I would like look at it for a minute and then I'd be like, okay. Yeah.
There's
sell it on.
I spent $50 for this.
Speaking of, Derek, I know you're into all the Netflix stuff. I know for a fact there's it's either a series or just a documentary on toys.
The toys that made us.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I've seen part of the first episode. I need to go back and finish it. There's so much I need to watch on Netflix.
Derek's just got a list.
So much
stuff. All right, listen. We should revisit the nostalgia thing someday, because I think you guys have a lot more stuff to talk about. Because I tell my nostalgic stories all the time, like talking about
candy
things happening in my neighborhood when I was a kid and being left by 94. All like those are my nostalgia. That's the stuff. Although it wasn't fun being left on the side of the road by Mr. Coleman. But anyway, all right, guys, have a great weekend. Tell people about the show. Share the show. Give us a thumbs down if you want. Give us a thumbs up if you want. But subscribe and share it with other people. Even if you share it like to mock us, that's okay.
Yeah, just share it. That's really what's going to spread the love of the show.
These guys are dumb.
Or spread the hate. If we can get all the flat earthers to just keep hating on the show, man, a lot of flat earthers will listen to the show. They'll get mad at us. It'll be fun.
Check out all the links below. Teespring, our sponsors, all of that stuff.
Yeah, do it.
Radio Bloodstream.
Yes.
Coyote Country Radio.
Yes. We should do that more often. Talk about that. Anyway. All right. Thanks for listening. We will talk to you guys on Monday. We appreciate you. We'll see you soon.